7:19 is time for This Week in Real Estate with Bob Zdora, the award-winning Z-Team for all your real estate needs. 870-405-0793. The website, retiretoarkansas.net. Good morning. Welcome.
Morning, sir. Morning.
How you doing?
Good.
Good.
We've been we got catching up with some of the closings and stuff this past week, so that's good. And there's a couple more this week. The fruits of our labor, as it were, but just being able to, people that have been waiting to go and waiting to come are going to be able to do that. We drove by, I got gas over in Flippin yesterday, the station across from the Sonic, and going in.
Yeah.
Good prices over there, actually. But there's a U-Haul storage. It's turned into a U-Haul storage facility in there. I mean, it's amazing, the number of vehicles, trucks, trailers.
Really?
Oh, the number of vehicles that are here in town with no place to go because we're not getting the people that would normally be leaving. You know, this is a turnover is usually what it is.
Yeah.
But filling up all the houses that had been available and stuff that have been vacant and stuff, people are coming here. I had a guy who came down from Illinois, and it was cheaper for him to drive the trailer back than it was to do it one way.
That was that.
And
49 years ago.
That was what he did. He turned around and he says, I just wouldn't pay him that much money for what they wanted. I mean, they wanted just stupid money.
For a one-way.
$200 in 1972 if we drove the truck back to West Plains.
Oh, West Plains.
Yeah.
I'd go
He
West
said
Plains.
$200. And we
But
rented
you're
the
going
truck
back to Illinois, and it's cheaper for you to drive the truck back to Illinois and come back?
It
That's
wasn't
crazy.
It wasn't
Yeah, he hooked the car onto the.
They said they
hooked the
needed it
car
in
on
West
there and
Plains.
came
They'd
back.
save us $200, so Dad drove the truck back and had a car follow him up there and brought him back to Mountain Home. But it saved $200 to go to West Plains.
So there's, market's still busy. It's active. I mean, the number of homes that are available are down, and as it continues to fall, the available homes, the better you need to be represented to make sure that things are going to go smoothly. Linda's spending. We talk about being the duck up there on the pond and just seeing from this up and everything, and down below it's a hurricane going on down there with the duck moving her feet, and that's what Linda spent all last week doing to get all these to closing, to make sure that the banks were doing what they said they were going to do, that they were in a timely manner. Some of these banks in some other states, because generally real estate is dominoes. This guy's got to sell his house to sell that house to sell that house. Sometimes these legally binding contracts are nothing more than a strong suggestion to some people. And, people's lives are involved here. You're sitting at your desk working on your computer, moving numbers around for people, and we can't get to that. It's probably going to be a week. Wait a minute. These people have got one of those trucks, and they're loaded up, and they need to be ready to go. So she is the follow-up queen, and she does that religiously. Every day she's up, checking up, making sure that this is done, making sure that that's done, to get these closings done, to get people on with the next phase of their life. And it's just so important that happens. And you need to have an advocate working for you to make sure, whether you're buying or selling, either side, you need to make sure that everything is being done. And that sometimes you need to put a little foot in their keister and move them along and say, hey, this is tick-tock, we're getting there. So, and she's great with that. But that's just part of the things that we do that's, just quiet. Nobody really knows about that. And because there's no reason to call somebody and get them all excited that we may not. When we know, okay, look, this isn't going to happen until Tuesday. That's different. But all the lead up to that to get things as done as they can be is a big part of the business. That's what service is all about. It's taking care of people, and many times taking care of people who don't realize they're being taken care of. So
we talk about all the things that need to get done behind the scenes, and it's not all about you. I mean, you can have all your ducks in a row selling your house. You can be prepared, taking every step, but you got another party involved.
Yeah.
And you don't know parties.
Yeah.
And you don't know how prepared they are. You don't know what steps they haven't went through yet or boxes they haven't check marked. And that's where having you guys really takes that headache off, because you don't want to have to last minute deal with this bank that's telling them, hey, we need another week or two. We're just kind of getting things settled and blah, blah, blah. That's your guys' problem. That's your headache. You're just selling my house. I should kick back and relax, right? That's how it works, though.
That's exactly how it works, Scooter. And to make sure that everybody is doing what they're doing, that people, sometimes they'll say, well, it's a cash deal. But the cash involves selling stocks or something like that. Well, as soon as they call that broker and say, we're going to take out $200,000, he's like, oh, no, that's a terrible idea. Because that's his livelihood. And I can understand that. That's not a knock or anything. It's just the way it is. So then you end up going, okay, so then they got to get a mortgage. Then they have to go see one of the bankers, see one of the mortgage companies, and be able to, but that starts the clock all over again. It's taken 30 days from that time. You've eaten up already 15 days thinking you were going to do something different. And to make sure that people have the funds and we always, with our buyers, and we ask for our sellers to have that person produce a letter from the finance company or from their investment firm saying that they have the wherewithal to go forward with that loan. That's very important. You need to make sure that you can perform, because people can say, yeah, well, to write your name on here and say, yeah, I want to buy your house, that's nothing. Ink is really cheap. To be able to perform and show me you can perform. I don't care how much money you got. I swear, I don't care how much money you got, and I just as soon don't know. I just need something from you, from your finance company, saying that you can, in fact, buy this house at this price. That's what you got to do. Especially in this market where you're getting multiple offers on things, and people are putting in offers that are higher than the listing prices, that are sometimes substantially higher. Sometimes you wonder that that it's never going to appraise for that. So then you have to address that in the contract. Are you going to be able to, who's going to make up the difference? Are you, Mr. Buyer, do you have the cash to make up the difference between what the house is going to appraise at and what the bank is going to loan money on, which is the whole purpose for that, in the difference of what you offered on the house? Because if not, then we need to get that done right now. We need to have that discussion right now.
So that literally during a real estate transaction, you could be talking to a half a dozen different people in half a dozen different venues to settle one issue over one transaction.
Yeah. And so, and you find yourself sometimes in some strange situations with that, but the importance of understanding how the process goes. And like I say, especially with the appraisals, the appraisers have been doing their best to try to keep up, but they can only keep up with what they've got. And some are taking stuff that's going under contract, trying to help with that to try to get the prices up somewhat. But we're seeing some people that are putting in offers that are just, that it's never going to price for that. And they know that too. And the agents know that too. But they want to get that house locked up. And then they'll worry about if it doesn't appraise, well, then the seller's going to have to give a little bit back, and I'll have the house, but I've got it locked in now. So we're sometimes the highest offer isn't the best offer. Sometimes taking a couple thousand less, mentally you're taking a couple thousand because you're already getting more than you were asking to begin with. But the difference in funds can sometimes make a difference between being able to close successfully at that price and being able to, and getting close to closing, because you usually don't get the appraisals till a week or so before closing. Getting that number and saying, well, it's only here. You thought you need it to be up here. Who's going to make up that gap, that difference? And then you're kind of under the gun because, well, we're going to close in a week. What are we going to do? Do we start all over? Do we just say, no, we're not going to, the sellers say, we're not going to give up any more money. We said that you said you were going to give us that much, then come up with it. So you can get into, like I say, as the market is hot like it is right now, it's a little different situation. So you need good representation, and we give great representation, I can say that.
That's why you get the awards.
Well, it's it's always been a people game for us, and that's really what we're successful at. Exactly. I mean, it's
whether
all about
you want to hear it or not, you're going to get the best answer.
That's what we're going to do. We need the best advice that we can do. We all want people to make good, informed decisions, and be able to make a good decision based on, this is the information. I can't spend anybody's money. I can't tell anybody, take this, don't take that. Here's what others have paid for similar homes. Do it that way. And you got to deal with the comps sometimes too. So it's a ongoing process.
Let's look at numbers.
This week in real estate, there were 38 new listings came on, 11 parcels of land, 27 homes came on the market. They came on in a range from $739,000 to $75,000. 7 of the 27 homes are active contingent. Average price coming on the market this week is $251,000. There were 42 sales, 2 commercial properties, 2 parcels of land, 28 homes sold. They sold in a range from $630,000 to $22,000. The average sale price was $192,000, with 82 days on market and $5.3 million in residential real estate closed this past week. And that's not counting. I don't do the land in that. I don't do the commercial. So the amount of revenue that's generated through real estate is really amazing. 13 properties expired, 21 had price changes. There's 139 pendings. So that took a nice jump off of last week. We're currently at 125 homes listed on the MLS.
What was that?
125.
125.
That's in reality, it's probably like really pushing 100 as far as what's available. Year to date, there's been 257 homes have sold for $46.7 million. 96 days on market. Amazing. Average sale price this year has been $182,000. Last year, there had been 243 homes. 243 homes had sold for $37.6 million. 149 days on market. Average sale price was $155,000. So we're getting into where people were starting to. Some people canceled on deals and stuff, and things started to slow down, and people quit coming. St. Patrick's Day is kind of my remembrance of this, because I was supposed to go up and see Mom and couldn't make it. But so now we're starting to get into the COVID, and we'll see the numbers start to they'll just stay steady going across.
Do you see a change in the trend where there's minimal amount of homes? Because we go back 4 years, 2017. I mean, you were sitting at the Mountain Talk Studios back in the days, and there was 1,015
homes.
Yeah,
we were over 1,000, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
And now we've got, 125? 125 on the MLS right now with 139 pending.
Yeah. So it's just the way it is right now. I mean, there's a lot of people want to come here.
You see the pendulum swing.
And it'll come back. I mean, when some of this mortgage forgiveness programs start to work their way out and start to hit some of these markets, you're going to see some people that'll start to lose their homes. There'll be some foreclosures, and that'll start to push up. I don't know that we'll see a lot of that here. We don't have that type of client that comes here generally. You'll see it in the bigger cities, and that'll affect what they're able to get for their house there. If the foreclosures start to come up, the people that are trying to sell their homes are competing against them. So you're competing against banks that are just trying to get their money back.
Yeah.
That's a whole different dynamic.
So that's another Excedrin headache for the real estate.
Oh yeah, well, for everybody.
Wow.
And then we'll see how that shakes out. But I don't see a bust like we had in 2008 because the economy's different. The way that they're loaning, the value on the loans is better. They pay better attention to the appraisals. Yeah. There was a while there that it seemed they would take a look at the contract and see how much the house is going to sell for $200,000, and the appraisal had come in at $205,000. Okay, but we're not seeing that now. I mean, they're working to try to keep up because of how fast things are accelerating here. There's some good opportunities. There's never going to be a better time for you to sell your home. You got to have someplace to go. I understand that.
Yeah.
But if you have if you had always planned on going someplace, or you have to go someplace, an illness, a family emergency or something, and you have to leave, there's never going to be a better time for you to sell your home. It's just because the interest rates are still low and they're staying low. They don't seem to be creeping up. They talk about them going up. The bonds went up a little bit. It doesn't really affect the interest. In fact, they fell a little bit again last week. But so it's still pretty cheap. It's like free money, just about. It's going to have to creep up a little bit, but that's okay.
Phone number, location.
Give my honey a call. She's at 870-405-0793. The website's retiretoarkansas.net. Take a look at the camera. All the MLS is on our website. You can find all the listings throughout north central Arkansas and southern Missouri. Give my honey a call, and we'll get you hooked up. And between myself and her and Sam, Darlene, Reese Tubbs, we're all here to help you out. That's the Z team.
All right. This Week in Real Estate with Bob Zdora. Give them a call, 870-405-0793. Coming up, Missing Monday with Brent Weaver and Genevieve Strickland. Be right back.